What's going on, YouTube? It's conversation time. I've had enough. I've had it up to here, as they say, and I'm ready to make a video today. So without further ado, we're diving into it. Today, we're talking about tolerance and what that looks like and what it produces. We're talking about a conversation I had with somebody who works for me that was very eye-opening, incredibly enlightening, and I believe needs to talk about some of the TPUSA protests and things that are going on there. And then I've been watching some podcasts and stuff. I tend to do that. And I watched a video about Dan Peña. If you guys don't know who Dan Peña is, look him up. He's pretty controversial, but he also doesn't really miss. He hits you between the eyes, but what he said needs to get heard. Needs to get heard. So let's dive into it. The YouTube stuff real quick, guys. I'm Jared. This is RedRacer Video. I'm just a regular, average, everyday dude who one day got fed up with watching all the nonsense and decided I got to start talking about this stuff. This is honestly probably as much for me as it is for you. I just got to get this stuff off my chest. But I always make these videos in hopes that it'll resonate with somebody, get somebody to think, and get somebody to critically think, maybe consider the other side and start to look at logic and maybe make some moves in their life that are a little bit different. If anything that I say resonates with you guys, makes any sense, or you think somebody else needs to hear it, please hit the like button. Please subscribe before you go. Hit the bell next to subscribe so you get notifications when the videos come out. And now the YouTube stuff's out of the way, let's dive into it. Tolerance. How many times have we heard the whole tolerance thing over the last, I don't know, 5, 6, 7, 8 years? We have to tolerate everything, right? Whether it's immoral, whether it puts our children at risk, whether it puts our wives, girlfriends, women that we love in our lives at risk, whether it puts them in danger, doesn't matter. We have to be tolerant of all these things, right? Have you ever noticed, has it dawned on anybody else, or is it just me, that all of the people preaching tolerance, demanding tolerance, give absolutely zero tolerance in return? You have to be tolerant, or we have to be tolerant of all the nonsense, and a lot of it is absolute nonsense that they're telling us we have to tolerate, when in return, they will not even hear your side of an argument. They will not even have a logical discussion with you. They're not willing to talk to you about your viewpoints. As soon as they know you don't have their viewpoints, they start screaming at you, F you fascist, we shot your boy. You guys are hearing all of it with the TPUSA stuff, things that are going on there, right? Where's the tolerance from all those people? All these people protesting TPUSA events on college campuses, whether you agree with them or not. And in fairness, I've never been to one. I don't know what one is actually like start to finish, but the videos I've seen, it's just one side giving viewpoints. I don't see all the hateful and hurtful things being said that everybody claims Charlie was saying, or that TPUSA says. I don't see anything getting said that would constitute violent protests. And if you guys have missed it, there are people literally getting beat to a pulp at these protests by some of these people. So where's the tolerance? These are the exact same people demanding tolerance for us and making us out to be monsters because we don't want to listen to them tell us we have to tolerate children being taught about sexuality, or listen to children be told that, oh, you have a question about your sexuality? That must mean you're not actually a boy, even though you're clearly a boy. So we got to tolerate all that nonsense. In the same breath, those people are screaming, F you fascists, we killed your boy, and beating people to a pulp while they peacefully protest at events. What you tolerate, you teach. Aldo, one of these guys, he was a rep of mine at a company that I used to work for back in the day. He was our sales rep for the company. They were like a vendor for the company I worked for. Aldo was a stud, very smart dude. I still look up to the guy to this day. I remember a lot of the things he taught me. But one of the things he taught me is what you tolerate, you teach. And that is exactly what has happened in this country. They got a bunch of you with big hearts, and God bless you. I understand it came from a place of love. It came from a place of wanting to be nice and wanting to do the right thing. I understand that. But it has gone well beyond that at this point. It is no longer about tolerance. They played you. You got played. What you tolerate, you teach. They know that. And they knew that if they got us to be tolerant for a while, they would get you to just be afraid to say anything about what they were doing. And now they're ramming it down your throat. Ramming things down your throat. You have absolutely no interest in going along with, but now you've tolerated it for so long that you've taught them that these things are okay. It's okay for them to scream at us and tell us we have to listen to their viewpoints, but if you try to have a conversation with somebody, you're a big a-hole. Yesterday at my job, somebody that works for me, we'll leave names and things out of it. I'm going to keep it as vague as I can, but they were in my office telling me, hey, did you know that I almost went into the National Guard? I said, no, I didn't. What happened? Why did you decide not to? Oh, well, the person at the time that was the president, there was no way I was going to go into the National Guard into them, so I decided not to. I obviously said, well, who was that president? And talk to me. What was going on? What was your thought process? Oh, well, it was Trump. Oh, well, so my question back to them was, well, which president would you rather be in the armed forces under, and why? Well, Obama, for sure. I would have gone back, if Obama was still the president. This person is going to college right now. They work in the afternoons for me. So my question back was, you genuinely believe that the armed forces are better funded and in better shape, and you would have been safer under Obama or his vice president, Biden, than you would have been under Trump, who has funded the military and built up the military more than any president in decades? You'd rather have gone and been in the military under people who were giving billions of dollars to enemies and leaving how many million, what's the number? I could be way off. 80 million, or was it 80 billion worth of equipment we just left when we just abandoned Benghazi? It was Benghazi, right? When we just took off in Afghanistan, left everything there. You'd have been better off in that situation under those presidents. Do you understand how naive that comment is? Immediately shut down. Conversation over. Oh, this conversation's just over. We're going to stop this conversation. I tried to stop him. I said, well, hold on. Why? Why stop the conversation? Let's just have a conversation. Truly, if there's something I'm missing, help me see it. What am I seeing? How would you have been safer under those regimes, under those administrations, than you are under the administration of a guy who, since he got in office, how long has it been now? 11 months or whatever? And he's ended 8, 9 wars, or prevented 8, 9 wars? Ended some wars and prevented others? Think about how illogical, is that the right word? Illogical? How nonsensical that statement is. But this is what we're up against. And as I sat and I thought about it, I was like, man, this person's going to college. They're supposed to be a college-educated individual. We all know why. We know what our colleges and universities have turned into. They're indoctrination camps, and they're not making kids smarter. It's sad and it's staggering how uneducated people actually are. This person, I got to preface, or not preface, because I've already said a lot of this, but I got to add in that I think a lot of this person. I genuinely enjoy having this person around. For what it's worth, this person does not have the same sexuality as I do. They are she's a lesbian. We're still very cool. We still get along great. Until yesterday, and we'll see what happens. I think we're still cool, but we were fine. Everything's fine. I've never treated this person any differently because of their sexual orientation, nor would I. So that's the tolerance, right? They ask us for. I believe in being good to people no matter what. Just because we think differently doesn't mean we have to hate each other, but we should be able to have an intellectual conversation, right? We should be able to exchange ideas. But I have to be tolerant of their viewpoint, and I sat and I listened to what they had to say. And then as soon as I started to ask some questions or interject some of my thoughts and opinions, their words were literally, this conversation is over, and they walked away. Where's the tolerance? And how much or how strong is your argument, or how strong is your viewpoint if you can't sit and have a conversation about it? If you can't articulate 1 or 2 good ideas or reasons why I should consider your viewpoint, if your argument is just this conversation's over, how strong is your argument? How much do you really believe in what you're saying? You don't. But like I was saying before, it was a huge eye-opener to me to just, man, where is the tolerance? And then I'm watching all these violent protests, not mostly peaceful, violent protests going on. And I asked myself, where is the tolerance? We were demanded or instructed that we had to be tolerant of these groups of people. And we have, to a fault. But now we have taught them that it's okay. It is pretty staggering to me. What has happened as a result of all of this is America has gotten soft. For those of you who don't know Dan Peña, he's like 73, 74, 75 now. I don't know. I can't remember when the last time I saw one of his videos. I didn't look at the date of when it was published. But the dude is very successful, very smart, very rich, but very hard-hitting, very in your face, man. He will tell people in the crowd, you guys look like crap. If I was the guy you came to interview with, I would not give you toilet paper. What happened to people dressing up? And he's very hard on people. He hits people between the eyes and tells them, you're soft. You got to go harder. All of these feelings and all these operating on feelings that you've done have turned you into an absolute loser. And he is really hard on people. And it's the truth. A podcast that I listen to, and I'm not going to shout them out because I think they're full of pompous twits, but a lot of times they do actually make some really good points, so I still kind of fairly regularly listen to them, I'll be honest. But a lot of the stuff they say I just can't stand. It's just they're a little too, they feel themselves a little too hard, so I'm going to leave it out. But one of the points that was made, one of the people on their show had just come back from, I believe it was Poland, and they were talking on the show about how crazy it was to be in Poland, how different people act, look, and behave in Poland. And it just reiterated to me just how soft America has become and how pathetic America has become. Guys and gals, I am not rich by any stretch. I am not anywhere near where I want to be in physique, in finance. I am still always and every single day striving to be a better person. I think you always have to be. But if I'm going to toot my own horn just a little bit here, I am a guy who has lost his mom, lost his dad, lost his wife, started having epilepsy. I have been in accidents during seizures. I have had all kinds of stuff go on. Having said all of that, I'm still in the gym damn near every day getting it. I am still food or meal prepping. I watch everything that I eat. Do I slip up from time to time? Sure. But if I go to an interview, I dress the part. When I go to work, I dress the part. I get my hair cut. I keep my face looking nice. It is staggering to me how we see people walking around and handling themselves in 2025. And I'm sorry, I'm just going to say, it's going to hurt some people's feelings. But if you wear your pajamas and your Crocs to a restaurant, you need to do some work. You need to look in the mirror and you need to ask yourself, am I really going hard enough? I keep seeing all of this SNAP benefit stuff and all these people freaking out. Just today, one of the people who work for me came into my office and was like, do you know what I just saw online? She said, I just saw someone freaking out because they got their SNAP benefit check that was $770, and that was only going to feed her family for a week, so she was losing her mind. SNAP benefits, miss me. I am one of the people who could be on benefits. I am one of the people who could be living off the system. You know how much money I've taken from the government? Absolutely none. I still get my ass up. I still get my food in. I still get to the gym. I still work 50 plus hours a week, lead a team, run a successful shop, all in spite of the fact that I could cry all day long about losing mom, losing dad, losing my wife, losing my health, all these different things. I'm still doing it. So yeah, I'm sorry to everybody out there that's just living off the system. We don't feel bad for you anymore, and we shouldn't feel bad for you. Those systems were never designed to make you systemic mooches off the system. I'm sorry. It hurts your feelings, a lot of you, I'm sure, but move on. Get over it. Get up, stand on your own two damn feet. We don't owe you anything. America has gotten soft. We do not try. We don't even try to dress the part. We go to the store looking like we just rolled out of bed. Our shirts are disgusting. We dress like slobs. And then we want people to just take care of us. Do you know why? Tolerance. Because we have tolerated it for way too damn long. And we have now taught people that it's just easier to live off the system. Yeah, you may not go and get to live a lavish life and have all the things you want, but you can get $770 for SNAP benefits for your family and then go complain on TikTok that it'll only feed your family for a week. It If you can only feed your family for 1 week on $770, you are all, I'm confident to say that I bet you without even seeing the video that's being discussed, I know what that person probably looks like and what their family probably looks like. And I'm sorry, I just know. Do you want to know why I know? To go back to what I was saying a second ago before I got squirrel syndrome and went off on a tangent. The podcast I was listening to today when they were talking, the guy said he went, and it's an Indian guy, like a from India, an Indian guy who now is an American, thriving, doing well, the kind of immigrant we do want. The one that's not here creating problems, doing crime, living off the system, actually contributing member of society, a true American. And you do not have to be born here to be American. I do not believe that. To anyone that's like, you're a racist, you hate immigrants. No, I don't. I hate the illegal immigrants who come here and just live off the system or make this place a hellhole and then tell us we owe them stuff. Those are the kind of people I don't want to support. But this dude, I absolutely support. Anyways, getting back to it, because I went off on a tangent yet again. He talked about how in Poland, one of the biggest takeaways, one of the things he noticed most was that in Poland, when he was there, he said, do you know how many people I saw that were fat? Or how many people I saw wearing pajamas and Crocs? He said 1 in like 500. I challenge any of you watching this video, think for a second. Think about the last time you went out in public. How many people that you saw looked like absolute slobs or were just absolutely morbidly obese? And I know some of you are like, oh, that's mean. You're being mean. I'm not being mean. I'm speaking facts. It sounds mean. And if it's mean, you think it's mean, it's because you've either been taught to be soft or you yourself are just not going hard enough and you're making excuses for yourself. America has gotten soft. We have got to do better. We have got to do better, period. We owe you nothing. Nobody is owed anything. And everyone, not everyone, obviously, you know who I'm talking to, but way too many of the people in this country have gotten incredibly, incredibly soft. And they expect way too much and they tolerate way too much. Start helping the people around you. It doesn't mean you start ridiculing them. It doesn't mean you start bagging on them. But if you look at somebody you care about and go, man, you know, I love you and I mean this with love, but there are some areas in your life you've got to work on. I would love to help you and I would love to see you make these improvements. I genuinely think you would live such a more fruitful and enjoyable life if you just pushed a little harder. It's not that crazy. These aren't gigantic changes that people need to make. They're little changes every day that result in big, massive changes in people's lives. But tolerance is the problem. We need to stop being so damn tolerant. We need to stand up for what we believe in. And when we see things happen that we don't agree with, say something. There are way more of you out there. I know it because I see the comments. I get the emails. I get messages from people that have my number from when I used to be on YouTube. I know there are way more of us that think like I do than people know. And it's because you're trying to be tolerant or you're trying to be nice. They're not going to do that for you. They're not going to tolerate you. They're not going to be nice to you. So stop getting run over. Start pushing harder. If you live on the system, if you live on food stamps and you live on SNAP and EBT and you live off the government, good for you that you figured it out. And I'm proud of that you think you like found a way to work around and it's just easier to be a mooch. You're the problem. And you're missing out on a lot in life. Looking yourself in the mirror and knowing that you have overcome some things that a lot of people could not overcome is incredibly rewarding. I challenge more of you to try and do that. This video got way longer than I thought it was going to, everybody. One more time, if you like what you heard here, leave a comment down below. Hit the like button. Please make sure you subscribe before you go. YouTube, maybe I'm just losing subscribers, but I'm pretty sure it feels like they still have it out for me. I don't know what to do, man. I lose, just consistently go back ever since the channel came back. Whatever, that's fine. But guys and gals, help me out. Subscribe, like, leave some comments. And if you just want to talk shit in the comments, go ahead and do that too. I don't care. Let's have some conversation. I'm down to have some back and forth with this stuff. I enjoy it. Jared, RedRacer video. Be on the lookout for videos. Like I say, see you on the next one. Thanks for watching, folks.